What's up, YouTube? ODST General back again with some Stormworks. It's been a minute, and there's been a number of updates to this since last time I played. So I decided, though, I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of going in and doing just like the regular missions, we are going to build ourselves a carrier, a full-size carrier. So this, well, maybe not full-size, but pretty close to it anyways. This carrier is the USS Saratoga, and it comes in 3 pieces. Now, we're going to have to assemble this before we can do anything with it. So if you're looking to assemble this, and this is your first time assembling, a multi-piece thing, they're all a little bit different, but basically this thing here, we have to come down, we have to unlock these maneuvering engines here. And as we unlock the engines, the carrier will, of course, go. So these maneuvering engines are pretty small. There's just a couple of these on each piece, and then their actual engines are in the back on the final part on the stern. But we've got these couple here just to get out of dry dock and get this to a place where we can actually safely assemble it without like utterly destroying the ship. So we're going to go out a ways here, and then once we're further away from the dry dock, we'll go ahead and shut the engine off. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky because this ship is almost certainly going to drift. In fact, let's do this. We're going to override the time, and we're going to do that just to make it a little bit easier to try and assemble it, just to keep it fairly clear. So this is pretty neat. We'll do a grand tour once we get out further. But I want to go a little bit further than this because we have a couple more pieces that are fairly large that we need to get out here. So once we get out past this, we'll go ahead and stop it. Was that a puffin? That really looks like a puffin. Alright, we're almost there. Just a little bit further here, and then we'll go ahead and shut her off. I think this should be good enough. So we'll do that. We're going to unlock this one, and we're going to turn the hull locks on. And so you can see there's these giant magnets, and you probably can guess then how we're going to attach the other parts to this. But we've got to go back and, of course, hop up and get these other parts. So let me get the other one spawned here, guys. Alright, guys, our middle section just got spawned in here. Let's go ahead and hop down once again. Still bobbing around in the water pretty good. Okay, there that one is. So let's go ahead and turn those lights on, and we're going to head down here. So once again, same thing. We're going to unlock the engine, turn those maneuvering engines on, and head out. So this can be kind of dangerous trying to get this thing assembled. I had the stern and the midsection here. I was attaching those two first, and I was going to attach them to the front of the ship, and it did not work out that well. The entire carrier ended up flipping over and sending the tugboat I was using flying, so didn't really go according to plan. Right now it looks like we're kind of off target here. We want to be more to the left of where we're at right now. So I don't think the water is going to push us over there. The water is pushing to the left, but of course it's going to be pushing the bow to the left as well. So as of right now, I'm thinking we're just going to shut this off. And we're going to go ahead and swim back again, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, and we got our stern of our ship here. We're going to go ahead and climb up this back ladder. Of course, flipping on the light as we go here. I can't remember which side this thing's on, but I think it's down here. Yep, there it is. And once again, same plan as the first two. We're just going to go ahead and switch this maneuvering engine on. This one is less far out, so we might be able to just hit the target ship pretty close and get it right away. I forgot, however, to turn the magnets on the back side of that. So we'll see what happens here. Right now, it does look like we are kind of off target. Definitely 100% off target. Okay. Let's turn that on. Once again, heading back. And we're going to get our tugboat and get everything into order here. Let's jump into the water there and get up here real fast. So all these are made by the same guy. The tugboat was his recommended thing. I do have a larger tugboat, but the small one seems kind of nice for this confined area that I'm going to be working in to assemble this thing, and it does the job pretty well. I haven't tried the larger one. It's just a little itty-bitty thing, but it gets the job done. Climb this ladder. Yeah, I feel like there's no sound right now. There is, there's just not very good sound. Maybe I'll throw some music on or something. Alright, so that middle section's mainly our biggest culprit here for kind of drifting. So we'll head back around on the other side here and then we'll push that over. So we're going to go ahead and speed up here real fast. Drop speed just a tad bit, and then we'll kill the engine for just a second while I get this thing aligned. Alright, so we're pushing against it, so let's go ahead and get some power here, just getting a little bit faster. Kinda not pushing super even, so let's go ahead and back up for a second here. Suction to it there. Alright, we're going to try that out. This doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but it's got to be fairly close, and that might not be quite good enough, but we're going to try it out. It's kind of tricky because the that particular tugboat kind of suctions to the ship, and can make it work kind of cattywampus. So, as soon as we activate this, this is either going to go really well or really bad. Okay, a little unstable, but it looks like we made a successful connection. So now we just got to get that to the bow of the ship. So the bow of the ship's kind of off a ways here. It's kind of gotten forward as apparently the midsection went backwards to make that connection. Carrier's coming together though. Look at that thing. That's pretty large. Definitely large enough to land a plane on if you're, you know, a like mediocre pilot to a good pilot. But I'm not a very good pilot, so we'll attempt to land a plane, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So we'll actually check it out first. We'll get it a ways off. Let's have you detach. Come on, you can do it. Okay, so we're going to try and come in at an angle here, and it needs to be a little bit further over, but it also needs to be pushed back some. Alright, so now we got to make the attachment once again here. That should probably be close enough. I don't know. It's a little ways off. Alright, get up the midsection here. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely the moment of truth. I'm hoping that there's enough weight on here that if this thing does connect and everything, it won't go tipping over. So it's saying it can't make it. Oh no. Oh no. Actually, I fell over. Well, here's yeah, shoot. Well guys, I think we're gonna have to end the video here for a minute. I'll have to work on getting these reattached. I had actually made a load file where this was all completed, and apparently the game decided to like corrupt or something, and it's like, oh, would you like to go through the tutorial? And I'm like, no. And it's like, oh, okay, well that's fine, we'll just skip that then. And it's like, oh, do you have a file saved? Not anymore, you don't. So I guess I'll go through and I'll get this this reloaded here real fast, guys, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, we finally got this this carrier assembled, and my little tugboat is kind of pushing up against it here. So let's go. Oh, I flipped it, assembling the thing. Well, let's do this. Let's dive down under it and shut it off. Actually, you know, let's return to the workbench and exit out. Okay. So, carrier. Let's go ahead and give you guys a grand tour. Let's override the time of day because I had to reload. I don't care about the weather. But let's have a daytime so when we're looking at it, and then we'll switch it to nighttime so you guys can see this thing at night. So there's obviously a multitude of ways to board this. At each section you have a ladder of some kind to get onto it and access it. So from the stern you have that ladder, which then has a staircase right by it that goes up to the deck. And the deck is pretty big, as you guys can see. Obviously it is a three-part ship that uses pretty much all the space. So let's just go ahead and go through the bottom, and then we'll work our way up front. So front to back. So we've got all these lights here, which we've kind of turned on along the way. Let's go ahead and shut that. And then back here we've got a couple of things. So we've got our engine room, and then there's this, which is this observational area up here. That ladder goes up on top of that, so I'll show you guys that in a minute. So let's go ahead and go to the engine room. So switch that, and you can either just drop down or climb the ladder, whatever you want to do. And that brings us down here, so got these keys. And that starts the turbine engines, so the engine turbines are good to go. So that's the engine room for it. It's pretty awesome that you have to kind of like start it like that. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it can be sort of tricky, sort of not. I mean, it's not super difficult, but yeah. So close that. We'll close all those as we go along here. So this is then the front of the carrier in the lower section. We've got a living quarters here, so there's some beds and, you know, bunks and like cases and lockers and stuff like that. And then we've got a another staircase here, which that one's closed already. Perfect. So yeah, we go up here. This is the comms room. nothing really in here, but I guess that's where the communication stuff would be. And then we've got a sliding door right there. I've got some gun emplacements here that you really can't do anything with. They don't move or anything as far as I can tell. No controls seem to do anything, but yeah, that's supposed to be the gun emplacements. And let's go ahead and head on in here. I'm not sure how those spotlights work. I'm not sure if those are connected in this or not. But we've got the bridge in here. So the bridge has a number of different things going on. It's got deck lights. Got flight deck lights, so that lights those up. Signal horn. There's an all stop just like on the tugboat. Can't really see this, but there's a light above that's used to signal other ships. So that's those floodlights there, so that's for some nighttime operations. And then what else do we have? The rotating beacon, which will be on top there. It's a green light. So let's go ahead and let's change the time of day on this. Actually, you know what, before we do that, let's go ahead and actually get underway too while we're at it. There's bridge daylights and stuff too. So this thing's actually really fast. Somebody said it was slow and it turned really slow, but this thing, it turns quite quickly for a carrier. I mean, that's pretty fast turning for a ship this size. Obviously, this is still probably undersized for an actual carrier. This is still scaled down, but oh boy, okay. There's supposed to be some stabilization for it, but I guess you gotta be really careful about turning there. It's kind of coming out of the water a little bit, looking like it wants to tip over. So let's go ahead and throttle down just a little bit. We'll just change the heading just a tad bit here. So you've got all these different things. You've got wind direction, wind speed, game crashing. Game didn't crash. Okay, just closed it down for some reason. There's rain and humidity. So that's actually really awesome. I didn't know you could get all those things like rain and humidity. Oh boy. Yeah, I know I'm turning. I'm getting really paranoid there that this thing's gonna go over. I don't know how much it can take. Let's go ahead and just hit all stop. And let's change the time of day. So this is the carrier at nighttime. I haven't actually seen it at nighttime myself, but that is that's pretty awesome. I would imagine this looks really awesome from the air too. Let's get up a little ways here. There's that rotating beacon up there. So this is the carrier, and you can see there's a little arrow to kind of indicate to pilots where the carrier is. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm not a very good pilot, but we're going to attempt to land a fighter on here. Let's go ahead though. Let's get those flood lamps off. I don't want those on. And press M. We're going to go ahead and bring it back up to daytime though, just because I'm a bad pilot trying to land on a smaller object. And it's just not going to work well. So we got a couple options as far as craft go. We have the Halo Pelican, which I don't really want to use. We've got U.S. Navy jet. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like an F-18, I guess. That one's really fast. It's fairly maneuverable, but it's a little too fast for my preferences here. The Sunderland, I haven't really had a chance to fly yet, but it's very complicated and it was lagging the game. So really, I think our only option is this F4U Corsair. This thing's pretty awesome. It is kind of difficult to handle. It's a little bit slower. It seems to drop off speed very quickly, so we're going to see how this goes. I don't think it's going to work out. I'm almost certainly going to crash, but we got to do what we got to do. So let's go ahead, shut the canopy. We got our brakes on just so you guys can check this thing out too. And pretty awesome. There's an attachment for bombs that or that throttle on the bottom there is for the engine too. Let's go ahead. Speaking of engines, let's go ahead and turn ours on. And we're going to take our brakes off. Now I've noticed an issue. Like you can see these are pretty upright. If I hit 2, it's supposed to bring up the landing gear, but I was having issues the other day where, yeah, see it's starting to spread out there. I didn't hit 2. It just did that on its own as I came out of the base. So now we have to try and take off. Thankfully there isn't the destruction of space engineers in this, but yeah, we're gonna have an issue here. I don't know what that's about, like why it goes up like that. There's gotta be a logic or something on here somebody's got it in place. And oh man, see, this is the problem with this thing. Let's go ahead and try to start that over again. We're just gonna try and take off straight out of the hangar bay really fast. We're not gonna try and taxi or anything because that seems to be where some of the issues emanate with this. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's just like the game's hinges and like the way the actions work with them or what, but so yeah, takes off pretty quick. Try and bring out the throttle just a little bit. Come around the island. So it should be fairly straight out from the dry dock, which is on the opposite side of this runway here. I cannot see the carrier from here as of right now. I have that on the other side. I'm not sure what that, if that's a button or if that's just supposed to be like a light or what. So we're coming around too high, so we need to circle around again. I've got the landing flaps down on this thing, and we're losing speed and altitude a little too quickly, so let's actually bring those up. I would be very shocked if I successfully landed this. I came kind of close last night in my tests for this, but I fell just a little short. I need to descend a pretty good amount here. Let's bring out our landing gear. Throttle down just a little bit. Can't throttle down too much, like I said, otherwise I will drop like a rock. Right now we're actually, I think, pretty good. We're gonna fall short. Oh, well, not exactly a good landing, but we landed in one piece. So let's go ahead and pop the canopy open, and yeah, we landed the plane. Should actually shut that down. Alright. Well, we kind of almost made it like a perfect landing there. I was kind of shocked by that. Now, that would be really crazy trying to make like a landing at night or moving landing with that. But yeah, that's the Saratoga, the USS Saratoga, and the F4U Corsair. That's actually made by a different person, I think. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was kind of intense. I'm actually pretty happy I actually managed to hit the deck, even if it didn't go too well. A little too much throttle when I landed, and then those, I think the brakes being on probably didn't help matters either. But I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.